Welcome to the Cindy and Joe Show on Between the Whistles Detroit. We are your hometown team. This is segment 2 with our legend NHL official, Jack MacRobert. And we are now joined by our good friend down in Florida, Steve Shannon. And we told you a little bit, gave you a teaser about Steve in the last segment. But Steve has a famous career as well in the hockey world. And a lot of fun. These two guys have known each other a long time, and we knew we had to have Steve on. So how are you, Steve? Steve's
doing terrific. Weather's great. It's sunny and about 88 degrees right now. So,
well, it's about the same here actually right now.
No, it's not.
Cool.
It's gonna storm again. We live at home. Anyway, I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
I'll have to ship Joe down to you there every now and then so he doesn't get so sassy.
Hockey practice.
I got to tell you a story about Steve. Steve's been married 5 times.
He's hitting you right hard, right off the bat, Steve. There's no shame in his game.
He's got his wife on the phone, and another lady called him, and he says, "I'm going to have to let you go. I got another call," and he did. He let her go right there.
What a player.
A man after your own heart, isn't he, though?
I have been in enough trouble in the last 3 months. Jack, you should just be quiet.
Well, it wouldn't be any fun if you were staying out of trouble, Steve. So tell us, you got into, you've had an amazing career in hockey here in the Detroit area, and I know that you have been an amazing coach and have coached many of our NHL Red Wings, one of our former guys. And so share with everybody a little bit about you.
Oh my gosh.
Keep it clean, my friend. Keep it clean.
Don't keep it clean.
No, I will. Listen, I started coaching in 1971-72 season, okay? And, you know, there was a team called the Blazers. Jack might even remember these guys. They had Donnie Dales on the team, Mike Bedino, a whole bunch of guys, and we did really well. And then I was doing clinics and other stuff as a young guy, and then you know, it seemed like every time I tried to step away from coaching, somebody would find out that I had been successful at it, and I'd get sucked back in, and I could never seem to get away from it. And then when my son, who's now 37, when he started playing, I really didn't want to coach his team. I was trying to stay away from it, but same thing would happen. They'd find out, and I'd spend like the first 3 weeks in the stands, and the next thing you know, I'm on the ice. And that's kind of been the way it's been, on and off, on and off, on and off. I coached with so many guys, so many legends. I've stole practice plans. I've stole more information from other guys.
Wait a minute, Steve. You stole stuff? You were a law enforcement officer, correct?
Hey, all's fair in love and war. Yeah, I did that for 19 years. But you know, like every time you go watch a practice of somebody, you take a little something from it. And I've seen every NHL coach. I've seen practices, and it's an accumulation of information through the years. And the stuff that doesn't work, you throw out, and the stuff that does work, you keep. And then, of course, it fluctuates with age and talent. And at the end of the day, you come up with a mismatch of what works. And then even later on, when I was coaching, you know, midget major or even the minors, okay, you know, you put your basic plan in, and you kind of let the guys run with it a little bit. And then when they start getting off the reservation, doing stuff that you didn't tell them to do, you don't go crazy, right? But you just kind of like put your arm around the guy and go like, what are you seeing that I'm not? Why are you doing this? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, geez, I don't know, coach. I don't know why. And then you kind of like grab onto them a little bit and we're like, well, start doing it the way I told you, or you're going to be sitting right next to me.
So now you
can I tell a story about you when you get a minute here?
We're going to get into a story.
Here we go. I'm ready. Let me put my seatbelt on this chair.
How long have you guys known each other?
Oh my gosh. Well, I started watching Jack referee when I was, I would say 16, 17 at Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he threw me out of a couple of games then. When I was playing for, you remember the team called the Vikings that Mike Giordano had? Jack, you remember that?
Yeah. Little Mike.
Well, I was 17 years old, and Joe Sukup used to come to my house and pick me up to go to the games. This was senior open check.
Yeah.
And I was 17 years old getting bounced around like a pinball.
It's still nuts.
Because I probably weighed about $1.50 at the time. And I learned real fast that if you swung the stick, you got a little room. But go ahead, Jack. I'm ready to hear what you got to say.
Jack's going to hit you with the story now that everybody knows they've been around.
It's a true story. This really happened.
Story time.
Steve was playing in Dearborn, Michigan, and he took a garbage can and threw it on the ice and emptied old hot dogs, popcorn, potato chips. It was a mess all over the ice.
Wait, so what you're saying is he threw Jonathan Erickson on the ice.
Anyway, so I said, Steve, you got to clean that up. So he took his hockey stick and he's cleaning it all up, picking it up, putting it back in the garbage can. So he got it all tidy. Everything was clean. And I says, now you're out of the game. You remember that?
I'm surprised they didn't throw the trash can back on the ice.
It's funny because
I mean, it is true. I probably was a better coach than a player because of my temper. And for the most part, and I'm not going to deny that I wasn't an idiot because I was at times. But usually I was a major league retaliatory type player. And if you did something nasty to me, I probably came back 100 times worse than what you ever did to me. Guilty as charged. Oh, I can hear Eddie in the background. I hear Eddie and Bob McKay in the background screaming.
See, we're with a celebrity here. Everybody's coming in, knows this guy.
Oh, I told you. Everybody knows him.
Everybody knows him, yeah.
Everybody knows him.
So we're...
I knew him, but I knew him. I know him.
Trust me. Like all of us guys, we go like, oh, I know everybody. He knows everybody. We're all just friends of his. We're part of it. We're one of the cogs in the wheel.
He's asking you that question again, Steve. Wants to know if you're done yet.
Oh, jeepers. If I heard that so many times. It didn't matter. Like, he used to give me some slack. There's no question about it. And if I was getting out of hand, he'd skate up behind me and say, Steve, you done yet?
Well, you know,
and then it would calm me down, and I'd say, yeah, I guess I am. And then sometimes he'd still give me a penalty, but most of the times he didn't.
Well, it was funny because I asked Jack earlier, I said, so who was your favorite player to officiate on the ice? And he said, Steve Shannon. And I said, great. And then I asked him after that, I said, so now who was the player that you went, oh, crap, you know, I got this guy's on the ice. And he said, Steve Shannon.
Double whammy.
Trust me, I had a lot of guys that I played with that were just as crazy as me. Well, Sometimes they were.
I don't know about
We
that.
went to a tournament in Florida. It was a national. Eddie was there, and the team from Finland came to the tournament. They had Canadian teams, and these guys were pretty good. Our guys. So I went down to watch the game, and at the pool at the hotel, the Finnish team was out there singing their national anthem. And these guys started singing the United States national anthem and just drowned the Finn guys out. I'm telling you, I thought we were going to have a fight in the swimming pool, but it worked out all right. And he was a ringleader.
He's blaming you again, Steve.
Yeah, I'm starting to get some tire marks across my back here, Jack. What?
So Steve, I have a question for you because like I alluded to everybody watching earlier that you've had the pleasure, I'm going to say, of coaching quite a few former Red Wings. Who are some of the people that you've coached over the years? I know you were a head coach with the Motor City Mechanics for a while. And
but that doesn't even touch the iceberg there. Listen, back in the 90s, when Blummer was the assistant coach with the Vipers, we started skating over at Troy. And, it was half Detroit Vipers, half Detroit Red Wings. And the first time we skated, I'm just walking out the door with Blummer, and Pat Verbeek comes running to the locker room, comes up to me, and he goes, "What time are we skating tomorrow?" And I looked at him like I was a deer caught in headlights. I go, "Like, why are you asking me?" He said, "Well, you're the oldest guy here. We always ask the oldest guy in the summertime when the skates are." I go like, "I don't know. I mean, like," he says, "Well, just so you know, guys are coming from, an hour and a half away." And I said, "Well, how about 9 o'clock? He goes, "Oh, that's kind of early." I said, "How about 10 o'clock? He goes, that's a little late." I said, "Okay." I said, 9:30, like I'm the one who picked the time, right? And it kind of started from there. Then Ludzik didn't like the fact that the Red Wings and the Vipers were skating together, so he split us off. I went with the Vipers. The Red Wings were on their own. And then later on, we kind of with Rob Valicek, Frazier. I mean, between that time and I ran these things for 16 years, I literally skated with just about every Red Wing, Viper from the middle 90s till jeepers. I think the last time I ran it was 2013 or 2012. And then I turned it over to Steve Oleski. And his pro career was just getting started. And he was starting his Eastside Elite League, right?
Yeah, we were just at the Eastside Elite event, Steve, just recently.
Yeah. Well, I used to play in that league in the summertime. Listen, I went around the whole area, wherever there was hockey, and wherever I could play the best hockey, that's where I went. It didn't matter where, it didn't matter what time of day. It was just like, let's drop the puck, let's go, and pass it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And I was all over the map. That's why I ended up playing with everybody in the whole tri-county area. But I coached Steve Oleksi when he was 10 with the Michigan Jaguars. Ask him about that one. I got pictures of him. Big fat-faced kid.
that would be the one bad moment if someone had pictures of me on the ice. Really, really bad. I'm pretty sure my mom and dad have them, but they're stocked away, you know.
Yeah, could you see little Chap out there? Actually, he was a goalie, so he'd be like, I'd like to see a butterfly. Can you do it? We should have you do it on the show one day.
Well, Jack will tell you.
Okay, I can nearly do a split. So
I have a confession to make, though, Steve. I do. I'm going to make a confession right now to everybody. I have never been on skates in my life.
See, that's got to change.
Ever.
That's got to change. It's got to change. I can't believe that, like, she has never on skates.
Never.
This is bull. I can't believe this is even happening.
Yeah, but can you hit a curveball? Can you hit a curveball?
You know what? I threw out a pitch actually at Jimmy John's Field the other day for my day job, and threw a knuckleball out there. Actually,
you did, really?
I did. My dad taught me how to throw a knuckleball when I was a kid.
Hit a curveball. You know what? We're gonna do? We're gonna record this. I'm gonna throw her a curveball and see if she can hit 10, like 1 out of 10.
Oh boy!
We're gonna see that.
The only curveball I threw was in hockey, and I used to land a couple.
That's when Jack had to come after you and give you a penalty now, Steve.
Oh, God.
That curveball was with your fist, so.
Listen,
tell you when he's done.
Throw Jack in here because he's got 10 times better stories than I got. He really
He
does.
just said he's got another one when you're done, Steve, so we're going to let him go.
All right.
I don't know if I ever told you this one, but we had I had an exhibition game between Hillsdale College and University of Windsor. And Ted Lindsay is coaching Hillsdale College.
No way.
And yeah, he coached him for 2 years.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
The guy from Windsor is coming by the bench with a stick up, and he cut Teddy in the forehead. And Teddy's face would hold 3 days of rain if you ever met him. Anyway, they cut him in the head, and all the Hillsdale players stood up, and Teddy opened the door and went like this, "Go get him." And they went out, and I'm telling you, they had a fight. It was a mess. So finally we got it settled down. My partner and I got it settled down and go in the dressing room. And the guy that was promoting the game goes, "Oh man, the fans love it. Way to go, boys." You know, what are you talking about, the fans? Are you kidding me? It wasn't even a hockey game. They were fighting out there. Hell. So I looked over at my partner, Mike D'Agostino. I love him to death. He's taking the skates out. And I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm leaving. I ain't taking this. I'm done with this. This is bullshit, you know." So I said, "You can't leave me here by myself because I ain't going, okay?" And he looked at me and he put his skates back on, we went back on, and the good thing we did, because Windsor was the older team, they left right there. They didn't finish the game.
Wow.
They were all, I'm talking about scarred players. Teddy's got a big bandage on his head when the game was over. Oh.
I'm curious, what's your guys' perspective on fighting? Because Jack was telling us about, he was there in 97, March 26, 1997 for the McCarty-Lemieux fight. And then he talked about some jail breaks when everybody comes off the bench, right? And then there's a big brawl. And of course, we love to watch that stuff. But what is it like? What is your perspective on fighting in the NHL, kind of old NHL? Now you've got new hockey where
they don't do it anymore.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I know what he's going to say.
All right, Steve, you're first. You're up.
All right. If you go back to when they started making these changes, when they took the center ice line out,
yeah,
okay, and sped the game up to where we are today, where everything's an area pass and guys are skating a million miles an hour out of control. That's when the game started to really make changes. And I think that's when the real skill level left the game.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's when concussions got way out of control.
Yeah.
And they've never got it under control. And I contend that if you put the center ice line back in, no 2-line pass, it would slow the game down. Concussions would go away. And now you have to be able to stick handle. You have to be able to make saucer passes. You have to be a smart player and be more cerebral, okay? And there's nothing wrong with less fighting. I get that. But you got to have guys tough on the puck. You got to be able to have guys that'll play the body and knock the snot out of one another. And then if the odd fight breaks out, who cares?
Yeah.
You have not lived until you've been in a bench clearing brawl, not a line brawl, in a bench clear, okay? Where you got guys coming at you from every angle, okay? And you don't know where the next punch is coming from, okay? Now, I always had good luck with that, all right? But it was more luck, okay? Because you don't know where you're going to get a punch from, right? And those are hell on wheels for linesmen and referees. Basically, you're just going to the bench and start taking notes because you're not stopping that till guys get tired.
Yeah, is that what happens, Jeff? You start taking notes and then you start handing out penalties? I always wondered about that. You know, when I've seen a couple of these, like, how do they even know how to manage that? How do they know who's getting what? How do you make those calls? You keep track of them.
And we know who the nuts are, you know, like him. I didn't even have to look at him. I was watching the other guys.
You knew he was getting at least a 2-minute, probably a 4-minute maybe?
He was trying to do whatever he had to do.
Yeah.
I was telling Cindy about what Don Cherry said one time about the game of hockey. That you got a 200-pound guy going 35 miles an hour on razor blades carrying a club. And that was you.
Well, I did learn how to defend myself. There's no question about it. Listen, I got in trouble when I went from no check. When I went from checking to no check hockey, that's when it got tough for me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I got so used to, shoot the puck in on defensemen, put it right past their head, get them flinching. So that then they would try to body up on you, and it made it easier to go around them. All right. Now, every once in a while, you'd hit them in the head, but I used to hit goalies in the head. That was like half the fun. We used to make bets who's going to hit the goalie in the head first. But today's game is completely different.
Yeah.
And the guys of today could not play in the 90s.
No.
Okay? And the guys of the 90s, for the most part, couldn't play in today's game.
Yeah.
The game is so different. And I know every sport has gone through changes, but I don't think any of them has gone through as much of a difference in the game as hockey. And that's really kind of a shame, to be honest with you.
He fought every tough guy there was. I mean, toe to toe. And we had a guy named, you remember Frankie?
Now, who are you talking about? Frank Werner?
No, Asadorian.
Oh, Frank Asadorian?
Well,
listen, Johnny was a good player. Frankie,
anyway,
I beat that guy like a drum.
I got to tell her about Frankie.
I got tired of beating Frank up. It was like not even a challenge anymore.
Hang on a second, Steve, because Jack has to tell us about Frankie. Frankie is apparently legendary also. And then I know Joe is chomping at the bit to ask a question. So
the team is losing by 3 goals. And Frankie couldn't score in a singles bar, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he goes on the ice, right? His coach sends him out there. And I'm thinking, now Frank's going to go out there and start some trouble. There's no way in the world they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
And there's 2 or 3 minutes to play. So I skated along behind him and I said, if you start any trouble out here, you won't play for 2 weeks or Thursday. I'll put you out. You can't do that. I said, I'm doing it. So anyway, he settled down and played to finish the game. So I go back in the dressing room, and him and his coach come pounding on the door. You can't tell my player you're going to put him out of hockey for 2 weeks. Yeah, I did that. Where did you get that from? I said, well, I'll tell you the truth. I got a real sore shoulder, and I didn't feel like pulling on Frankie and trying to break up a fight. So I told him that it ended up pretty good because we didn't fight anymore.
You know, you mentioned something about the center ice and how that has led to, you know, hockey as we know it today. It's funny because my grandpa will say this all the time, that hockey is not the same as it was back in the day when he was you know, watching. But since I've been watching hockey,
oh my God!
you see
how
vast the game is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mark Jackson. Hey, Boolin Wall, Mark Jackson.
I can hear Eddie in the background going
Do
crazy.
you hear him? Yeah, I think we've got some other people here that want to get on the show. Maybe we'll have
It's
to
your
do a
buddy
segment.
Eddie Ross.
Eddie Ross is here, so we'll have to get him on the segment.
Mark
I
Jackson.
told Bob McKay, you better keep him under control. Of course, it's a little late in the day for that.
Right? Too late to control it. So I'm kind of curious about also, you know, you guys obviously, you're watching the Red Wings now, right? And you guys both knew some of the legends for the Detroit Red Wings. What do you guys think of this rebuild? Do you think that Steve's doing it right? And what are you guys looking forward to for next season? Who wants to go first?
I was hoping you were going to. I was going to go ahead, Jack. You go first.
Tampa Bay. When he was at Tampa Bay, he made 2 Stanley Cup teams there. I think he's on the right road.
Yeah.
I know Steve Shannon thinks different, so let's go.
Steve, what do you think? Jack
I
says
think
he's not
completely
quite
different. First of all, Jack, he did not win a Stanley Cup when he was in Tampa Bay. The year they won their first cup, Steve stepped down, and the new GM brought in 4 tough guys, and they won the cup that year. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt right now because they've made so many trades and drafted so many good guys that this year it's like a crapshoot. I got to see him play. Now, here's the problem that I see, okay? And I talked to some people that play in the Red Wing organization right now, okay? If you go from the bottom up,
This guy was one of the best.
Toledo has been a very good organization for a long time, and they're always right at the end for the cup in the East Coast League. Grand Rapids has always done good, and they do well all the time. Now, Blashill's been there going on 6 years. Are we going to say any more?
Well, I think you said it all right there, Steve. So, I got you.
For me, it should be you're strong.
You have to believe, man.
There you go. Jack's the hometown guy up here with the hometown team. You got to believe.
I understand that. I am too. I root for the Red Wings all the time.
I know.
That's why I get kicked in the. Anyways, so now, to me, all good organizations win top down. Okay, like the Red Wings should be doing well, and it should be going the other way. We've got it going from Toledo on up. We're strong going up, and then we get to the Red Wings, and we shit the bed.
You know who I'm excited for, Steve? I don't know about you. I'm excited to see Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond up with the team. What do you think? They're going to training camp. They got training camp in a couple weeks.
I don't care if they brought back Gordie Howe.
You'd have to jump up to punch Mo Snyder, man.
Well, listen, I could hit him with a stick like nobody's business. I'd carve his eye out. And then I'd get thrown out of another league. Who gives a shit? No, here's the thing.
I love
you
it.
just got to take a wait see. You just got to take a wait see attitude and hope for the best. I think Steve's on the right track. Okay, I can't be sure. I think if you interviewed Steve, he'd say, "We're gonna see." Yep. I think Blashill would say, "We're gonna see." How do you know? You've got so many different moving parts.
Yeah.
Okay. That, yeah, are there individuals you're going to want to see play and see how they do? You know how many #1 draft picks shit the bed every year? #1 picks fall through the cracks every year.
He's right. He's
Okay.
right. Every year you see players come in. And
Yeah,
they
I skated with a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I skated with a bunch of #1 picks that couldn't make some of my senior teams because they were so stupid.
You know that. Let me tell something about you guys.
You know, like I said, right now, I root for the Red Wings every year. Even Jimmy Neal goes like, man, when are we going to convert you out of the Red Wing thing? I said, Jimmy, you're probably never going to do that. You know, like I'm a Detroit guy. I root for the Tigers. I root for the Lions. I root for the Pistons. I'm a Detroit guy through and through. That's just the way it is.
You know,
well, Jack's got another story. I can't wait to hear.
I'm going to set something straight. That when I started refereeing, there were 6 teams in the NHL and 6 American League teams. And Detroit was a hotbed of good hockey players, and they couldn't play itself. I mean, so they all played beer leagues. They call it beer leagues, like Steve. I mean, Steve could play. A lot of those guys could have played in the NHL. There wasn't room for them.
Yeah.
And in the 50s, now in the 60s, when they started expanding, some of them went to some of those teams.
Yeah.
You remember Ron Serafini?
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Wait, let me tell you, Ron Serafini was a tough guy. When you could, in Detroit for a while, you could drink when you were 18.
Right.
And he was in a bar.
Shocking, a hockey player in a bar. Go ahead.
And he had a fight in the game previous to going to the bar.
Yeah.
And true story. The guy comes in and fought into the bar. And he walks up to Ron Serafini and he says, let's go in the alley and finish that. So Ron says, oh yeah, man, okay. He says, let me ask you a question. He says, how many fights have you had in your life? And the guy says, 15, 20, whatever he said. And Ronnie says, I have that many every week.
Oh, gee.
You want to go now? And the guy said, no thanks, and out the door.
Smart move, yeah.
Oh yeah, Ronnie's.
He played for Oakland in the World Hockey.
Yeah. I played some, you know, Monday Night Hockey was like the who's of hockey guys on the East Side. Ronnie played with Billy in the junior wings, and he would come over and play. And well, his wrist shot was crazy, just like it was nuts. Like he could stand at the goal line and score at the other goal line with a wrist shot.
Yeah, with the wrist shot.
Billy tells the story when he was with the junior wings, and he was only about 15, 16 years old. He shot the puck at Olympia. He shot the puck at Olympia and hit the clock on the mezzanine and broke it. Well, if you saw that, you know what that was like, Jack, right? I mean, that was a wrist shot. This guy was tough as tough could be. There's so many good hockey players, legendary hockey players. I heard Eddie yell Mark Jackson in the background. Mark Jackson played in the minors. I played with him. I played against him. He played on the police team with me. You know the game that the Russians played a minor league team before they played Madison Square Gardens, the Olympic team?
Yeah. Well,
Mark played in that game. There's a YouTube video of that whole game. And he knocked the snot out of some of those guys. Like he was probably the best body checker. Trust me, I felt some of those. I mean, when he hit you, you just went and picked up your shit and went to the bench.
Well, you know what? I think, Steve, we got about 5 minutes left. I think we're going to have Jack with us. So I just want to leave it to you guys and What do you guys want to use the last 5 minutes for? Is there anything we haven't covered? What's the best stuff? Give us the juiciest stuff.
Okay. I want to know from Jack. Oh, just I want to know the best NHL behind the scenes story he can come up with and make it PG so that we can, what hockey player was the absolute craziest Red Wing that you can tell a story on?
Was it now?
The craziest behind the scenes NHL story, the craziest Red Wing, the most craziest PG. He did say PG story that you can tell us.
Darren McCarty.
Once again, Darren's at the center of it. Shocking.
Darren McCarty. If you went to his, did you go to his show when he had the community? He told the story about the Coke machine.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I wasn't there, but I heard
about it.
But Darren McCarty rolled the Coke machine up and locked Mulpey into the room and left it in front of the door, and he couldn't get out to go to practice, and Scotty fined him. He had to go to practice, and Mulpey didn't show up for practice, and Scotty fined him for it. And he said, I couldn't get out of my room, and McCarty's standing there laughing.
Boys will be boys.
Yes.
Yes. We haven't even covered any of the boys will be boys stories. I got a couple of those. But Joe, you got any other last minute questions for the guys? We got a couple of hockey legends from Detroit here, and I know you are a hockey legend guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you guys could tell me what's one of your favorite players of all time? What's one of your favorite? I know who your favorite player is all time.
McCarty. Yeah.
Or Howe, or one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Gordie Howe. Gordie, it's not even a contest. It's not even a contest. Listen.
Which one was Chelio?
You talk to Wayne Gretzky, and he says Gordie Howe. You talk to Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr goes Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
Gordie could shoot either way. He could play it tough. He could play it finesse. He could play right wing, left wing, center, defense. The only thing he never played was goalie. And I think he could have done that if he friggin' wanted to.
Yeah.
You talk about guys being able to do this and do that. Yeah, they were all, Gretzky and Bobby are great hockey players. But they'll even tell you the best one of all, Gordie Howe. It's not even, I don't even know why there's a debate.
Did I tell you a story about the doctor and Gordie? I told you.
Yeah, I think that's a famous story.
And Steve knows this. Gordie got cut in a game. True story. Gordie got cut in a game.
I think I heard this from you.
Were you there that game, by the way?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. Anyway, so Doc Finley was a doctor for the Red Wings. He goes in and gets stitched up. He got like 7 or 8 in his head. And so he grabs his skates and his gloves. He's going out again, going to go play somewhere. And Doc Finley's packing his bag because he was done with the stitches.
Yeah.
And Gordie stopped at the door and says, "Don't put your bag away. The guy that did this will be right in."
That's good hockey, right, Steve? So, Steve, so Gordie Howe is your favorite. I think Gordie Howe's one of mine. Obviously, Steve Yzerman, another one of mine, and Darren McCarty, just because he's such a good friend of mine. So far in my limited hockey experience, those are some of my favorite guys. And I'm amazed you took a chance there. Your buddy Chris Chelios, who, by the way, you still owe me an introduction. Just saying, Steve. Just saying.
Listen, Shelly and I have had some good times.
Shelly's going to be okay with your story.
And he confirmed a couple stories for me when I talked to him, which I will not repeat.
We'll have to do that off air.
And he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Listen, I had Chris Chelios, Darren Hatcher, Brian Smolinski, Sean Avery. All of those guys.
John Avery, how's that name for hit you?
Yeah. Well, all those guys treated me well, conducted themselves fine by me. Okay. Even Chelios will go that Avery's a little bit out there. And he is, but I like those kind of guys. I want a guy on my team that wants to be on the edge.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll reel him in. Okay. And what you do away from the rink as a professional hockey player, I could care less. When we're done, when you come to the rink, your butt's mine. And when you leave the rink, you're on your own. Okay?
There you go.
Now you get yourself in trouble, that's a whole nother issue. Don't embarrass the organization, because if you do something too far out there, your ass is out the door. We'll see you later.
There you go.
Okay.
And Steve, I think all of us have to get our butts out the door because we're getting the, we've extended our time, but thank you so much for joining us all the way from sunny Florida. Thank you, Jack, so much for being with us.
Problem,
And I'm hoping that both of you guys will be willing to come back on with us here after the wing season starts and we can get you guys' take on that.
Long living Serena.
We'll see you next time on the Cindy and Joe Show. Joe, you got anything to say?
Nope.
I got kicked out of Inkster Rink too.
Steve.
Good talking to everybody. Good job. Thank you. Thank you,
Steve.
Cindy and Joe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.